Okay, so we've made our seed raising mix, we've made our little newspaper pots, and I'm now going to talk about how I plant seedlings or plant seeds. So you can spend all afternoon looking on YouTube, and there'll be lots of different people that teach you lots of different ways to do this, but I'll just go through what I do and it seems to work. So different seeds need to be treated quite differently, so I'm going to start off with some lettuce seed. So these are seed that traditionally would be scattered, so the wind would blow it everywhere. And when you look at the seed, you can kind of see that even now, sort of blowing away. So what I do, I tend to just loosen up the soil wherever it is that I'm planting them with my finger a little bit, and then I sprinkle quite a few, maybe 10, whatever I can get with a tiny little pinch in each of those, and then I cover them over. So as a general rule of thumb, if you're looking at a seed, you need to cover it with 2.5 times as much soil as the size of that seed. So see, I've just covered those over there. So if I had, for example, next I had some, this is dwarf snap peas. They're quite big, aren't they? Okay, so normally I would actually put these straight in the ground. So for some seeds like peas or broad beans or beans, they're so big, you're probably going to want to put them in the ground. They'll sprout quite quickly, and you don't want to necessarily be disturbing those roots. Other things like beetroot and carrot, that's a little bit the same, because they're a root vegetable and you don't want to be disturbing that root. You disturb it as least you can. So peas, again, 2.5 times. I just put 1 in each punnet. Sometimes if I'm not too sure about the viability, I might put in 2. I've stuck 2 in there. Cover those little guys over. 2.5. 2.5. 2.5. 2.5, and then they're ready to go. And I've done a little trick that I always do, and that is that I start seeding up and I forget to label it. So after many years of trying different things, I actually use some pot sticks left over from my teaching days, and I use a pencil, which seems to be the only thing that doesn't actually come out in the water. So I've got lettuce on that one, and I've got dwarf pea on that one. A couple of other different types of seeds. This is a broccoli seed, and for this I use a saying that Scott told me that his Croatian father says, and he says you always sow 3 seeds, 1 for the weather, 1 for the pests, and 1 for you. So I actually don't put all 3 of the seeds in one hole, so I make a little indent, quite a small, largish circle in my seed raising mix. This is quite wet actually. Then I get, for each punnet, I get 3 seeds, or I have a go, and I put them in a little triangle. And if you get 4, that's not the end of the world, you get 2 for you. And what I find, and then I gently cover them over. And what I find is, if I put them all together and they all do sprout, it's very difficult to get them apart because their roots have kind of joined together, not joined together, but they're very close. So if I put them apart, then it means that when I go to pull out a seed that I don't want there or don't need there, that the others have enough room. So I'm not going to do that whole row, but I would do that whole row like that. And then once those seeds start popping up, I can then thin them. I can take that little one that I've pulled out and stick it maybe somewhere where one didn't grow, or I can get some other pots and actually plant that seedling in there. Some seeds need to be treated, or it's better if you treat them before. So this is some beetroot, and the beetroot seeds, again, normally I would put 3 in each of those punnets, but what you can do with beetroot seeds is actually pour boiling water on them and leave them for 24 hours. So if you're interested in different ways to treat different seeds before you actually plant them, I recommend grabbing the Green Life Soil Company planting guide, and that has a whole pile of information about different seeds and what you can do as you're planting and whether they should be planted in the ground or in punnet. So that's beetroot. It's a root vegetable, so I'm not going to plant it today. I'm actually going to pour some water on them, leave them soak overnight, and I'm going to stick them straight in the garden tomorrow. So I hope that's helpful. It's not hard, but it is something to experiment with, and it helps enormously if you make sure you have a cup of tea handy.
By the way, my name's not Andy, it's Tim.